Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Alan Fletcher. I'm here on the live QA, and I'll be available to answer questions about Delphi debugging. So, without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to start by answering a couple of questions that, well, that's good. I just got a feedback that says that we can see your screen and we can hear you. I guess there's no debugging needed there. Anyway, I'm going to start by answering a question that was asked by Nikos, which is the following question. Um, Unfortunately, I don't do much multi-threading development where I work. I remember Delphi having improved debugging of threaded applications at around Delphi 2010. Might be a bit off, but anyway, there's an article that I found that describes spot on what needs to be done. And here is the link along with my response. Uh, oh, um, there goes link. And another question I got was about having the debug and release mode in Delphi 10. And the question is, if I have something like if def show message, having conditionals to either show or execute debug code or in Delphi 7. Um, so, and the exact question was, how can I detect if my application is running on debug or release mode? My answer, unfortunately, is that I don't remember much of Delphi 7. That was way back when. I can say that you can always define a debug constant on your compilation, and whenever it's defined, your debug statements will be executed. And when you don't want them to be executed, then you can remove the define, and those statements will be out. Um, and Okay, and that is all the two questions I had on the Embarcadero Academy. So I'll be open for some questions as soon as they come in. In the meantime, I'm going to go over um, a few things on on the application that I wrote. Um, Once again, this one includes the code site logging, and I'm going to go and refresh once again how to put a conditional debug breakpoint. Let's say whenever, probably it's my networking. I've been having problems with network all day long. Um, the blurriness is something I cannot fix. Is it terribly blurry? Hmm. Okay, good. Readable, but barely. Well, that's what you get. Um, so anyway, I'm going to show you once again how to. Okay, so again, making sure that we have the resolution on the player set to 720. And that is done by clicking on the little gear on the right side of lower right side of the video. Um, that way you can see it. Anyway, so um, I'm gonna do this options and um, there. Can never remember where this is. Let's make it a 12. Okay, so this should be better. I hope this is better. I just did change the editor font size. Is that good enough? How do I switch between threads manually during debug? As I said before, I don't do much multi-threading debugging, so I'm going to pass on that. Um, I don't want to make. I want to make sure I don't embarrass myself beyond any recovery. But there is a place. I'm going to give you once again the link to a article that describes that, and copy and paste. Um, which debug techniques are you referring to? Most of the debugger works the same for mobile. Code site will not deploy to any Android or Macs or iOS. So the breakpoints and all this is accomplished by deploying the remote debugger and running it on the host system. Like if it's iOS, which I have some experience, you develop and deploy to an iOS device, and the Mac will hold the PA server that makes the bridge between the Delphi environment and the target. Did I answer your question, Eric? No problem. I'm still here. I hope everybody can still see my screen. So I guess nobody has questions about debugging or conditional debuggings or yeah, I guess. That's too bad. I think I should have been less effective. That would put me into a lot of work today. So Bruce, I think you have a question. Oops. I'm not sure I understand the part of your question. A way to persist an entire T string list? To persist or to inspect? Oh, I think I understand. So the watch should be something like, let's get, um, yes. You you can do that by examining the dot text of the of the string list, it will give you all the strings. But if you mean the streaming the whole component, any T component is streamable, and there's a couple of ways you can stream a component to anything. So I'm not sure which way do you want this to be answered. Let's see. Uh, uh, let's see. This link here shows you how to create something to write a component out, because components are streamable. A T object, you'll have to provide your own way. Oh, I see what you're saying. So not that I know, you can write your own debug. I think that's what you're referring to. But why would you need to look at the whole object? What's the case for that? Perhaps there's a different way I can help you. Let's see. You can accomplish that with adding the proper watches on the left side of on the debugger. So you get to a breakpoint, you can look at all that. Or I don't know if you can have multiple inspects. Let's see. So if I come here and, yep, don't want to see you. 2 plus 2. So I can do this, debug, inspect, and here is the whole object. And where's a different object? Yeah, that one. Is it something like this, Bruce? Okay, try a string list. Sure, demanding audience. Private. My list, my str list, t string list. So my oops. Um, oops. My str. Let's add something to the string list. Dot add dot int to to str I and print. Is it print? Yes, print. My str list dot text. Okay, let's put a breakpoint here and run this thing. Okay. So this is what you want me to try, correct, Bruce? Does it update? Well, let's try this again. I want to put a here and look at it. So close, debug, inspect. So count. Okay, so yeah, it does. It does update. You can see there. There's an update. There's another one. And there's another one. Does this answer your question, Bruce? Ah, glad I could help you, Bruce. Anybody has any other questions, or should I just go off onto show you things? Um, so, being that I'm in debug mode, and one of the tricks I like a lot is the ability to have this the program pointer here, this blue arrow, moved around to my heart's content. So I just effectively skipped part of the initialization and skipped on 5, or better yet, I can make it move around. So if I go here and do add, and I go like, I'm just going to go straight here, up there, and I avoided the whole execution. Nothing happened. Conversely, I can do the same thing and repeat things over and over again. And that allows me to execute parts of the code with limitations. Um, it's very useful when I'm miss a call and I can actually go back and look at the call and see if it does something that I was expecting or not. I like this feature a lot. However, there are caveats. You can't just jump willy-nilly everywhere or anywhere in the code. So if I jump it here, you even get a warning saying, hey, you're about to mess up. And maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Wow, I did not. Yeah. Or, but I'm not executing to F4. So I grab the little blue arrow, oops, right here, and you can see it's moving with me. And I'm going to put it there again. And yet another warning. At times when you jump functions, things might not be initialized, and you may get terrible, terrible results. So, as I said before, with great power comes great responsibility. But I find it really good. Um, you know, Another thing that I like is the data. So the data breakpoint. So if I know that something is going to be changed, and let's see, where do I go? So let's say that the running total tools data breakpoint. I was right. Data breakpoint, and I can say, I want running total when it gets to. Um, I just wanted to know when it's modified. So if I run it and somebody modifies the running total, I'll get a breakpoint that tells me, hey, it was modified. And it allows you to figure when you're having several places where you can modify data and something is getting modified in an unexpected way. You can even put a condition to um, to have it break when that is achieved. The problem with this is depending on how much processing you're doing, it might slow you down a bit, but it sure beats going around trying to figure where did you go wrong. Let's clear all my breakpoints. Yep. Um, the other one that is very useful is when I can set a breakpoint. Let's set it here. And I can make it, you know, just stop there, or I can say, hey, when running total, it's bigger than 10. So if I continue to run it, oh, it would help if I actually typed it correctly. Sorry about my dyslexia. Total, okay, run. So running total is 4. If I do 2 by 2 plus one more time, it will run. Next time it stops because running total now, it's bigger than 10. No, it doesn't. The data breakpoint can be, it's a data breakpoint. So which means that it's going to place debug code around the setting of the variable as opposed to the execution of the program. So the question was, on the data breakpoint, does the location of the breakpoint matter? No, it doesn't. Anything else? Any more questions? Okay, I guess I got a smart bunch. Bruce, any more questions? You seem to be one of the very vocal guys. And, one of the things that I don't think I stressed enough is clean code, no hints, no warnings before you go debugging something. Because usually, if your code is a mess, it's hard to understand. Um, if you have a lot of hints and warnings, you might have bigger problems than just debugging. So normally before I debug, I try to understand what the code is doing and what it's supposed to be doing. I try to make sure that as much as I can, given um, the scenario, that at least the area where I'm going to go debug has little or no warnings or hints. And if it does have warnings and hints, I will look at those first and make sure that they're not a problem. Once I do that, I make sure that the code is not confusing, and then off you go to debug. Most of the time, debug is a mental exercise, and the debugger has the tools to help you understand what's going on. And like you probably read there, I'm waiting for my last question before I can go home. Anybody has any more questions? Well, if no question comes up, feel free to hit me up with any questions. My email is it's me at alanfletcher.org. I'm willing and able. If nothing else, I think that concludes it. Thank you very much for watching. You're very welcome. Thanks. It was quite an interesting experience. Thank you and goodbye.